Jim, before we wrap things up, I'd like to bring up something that's actually starting to gain some buzz at the moment, and the Young Bucks are trending because of a report. It appears to be from the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Figure 4 online message board. The headline is, Report, Young Bucks sent feelers out to WWE. And this all seems to be coming from something on the F4W online message board. I'm getting this from a Wrestle Talk article. Ryan Frederick of the Wrestling Observer pointed out that the Young Bucks had their options picked up. Here's the exact quote. They didn't sign new deals. Their options were picked up. They did reach out to a talent to send feelers that they would be interested in talking about coming in when their deals are up.
And what did Steen say?
But everyone on both sides are going to do the same because you want to look for the best deal. Anyone who doesn't do so is dumb and possibly leaving money on the table. And then, I guess, explaining why the Young Bucks...
No, when you're just a fucking talent, when you're an employee, when you're just one of the worker bees, yeah, you want to see what kind of contract you can get. You want to entertain all offers. When you've made the commitment that you're an executive vice president of a company, and they've already had one leave when Cody got run off, and now these... I honestly, if they had not agreed to start AEW, from what we hear, they probably would have got a fucking WWE contract, because at the time before the company got started, they had made offers to all of them because they didn't want a billionaire getting in the wrestling business. So they wanted to try to take the talent at the start. But now, not only that, I mean, Vince McMahon, if they were willing to make an offer to the Young Bucks while Vince McMahon was in charge, that meant that they were worried about a billionaire getting in the business and they wanted to put a stop to it. Because there's no way ever in life that Vince McMahon would sign Matt and Nick Jackson seriously. Maybe like James Ellsworth or whatever, but not seriously. He wanted to stop the company. Now they've seen the company. And I've said this, I've been saying this for a couple of years. They've seen what it looks like. That's why all of a sudden they stopped those, not only stopped the high contract offers to the WWE talent to keep them, but started fucking firing people. They fired people that goddamn AEW could pick up immediately and did, because they knew what they had as competition at that point, and they weren't concerned. So now, if these two little fucking dipshits are trying to get a deal, I don't think Triple H would look at them with as much disdain as Vince, but he still don't need them because they know now what the competition is, and those guys would never make it in the WWE. They wouldn't make it in the locker room. They wouldn't make it in the ring, and it would be ridiculous visually. So now they're trying to see if there's any interest at this point up there in them so that they can attempt to put Tony over a barrel to sign him to a new longer-term deal or whatever the case. But they ain't going to find a lot of people nibbling on that fucking worm. The time has passed. They never wanted them to begin with. They wanted Tony Khan not to have them.
Well, Jim, I have one more quote from this part here. They reached out to a talent to send feelers about coming in. I can't say they talked to anyone direct to WWE, but that would fall under tampering, and this came at the same time that the legal letters were being sent about tampering. I can't confirm they actually talked to WWE people themselves, but they talked to other WWE talent about coming in, which they can do, much like WWE talent can send feelers through AEW talent, which has happened and happens on both sides often.
Good Lord, that was a convoluted fucking way to get from point A to point B.
It's not something they wouldn't have done anyways, since their deals are coming up at the end of 2024, and you want to maximize your leverage when it comes to getting a new deal and get the companies into a bidding war.
Oh, good Lord.
It's not necessarily a sign that they're going to leave. Everyone should do it. Hey, right now they have no leverage with AEW. If Tony has a brain right now they have no leverage contractually.
They're suspended. They brought disgrace to the company and they're currently suspended. If that's leverage, then I need to look up the American Heritage Dictionary definition of leverage. And they ain't going to have any leverage with the WWE because the WWE now doesn't want... How would Triple H sell that to anybody else in the company? Yeah, I'm going to sell these two guys every time they're on the opposition program. 200,000 people tune out. What the fuck?
If the talent, I'm going to say this, even though it's not the thing. If the talent they contacted was Cody, this whole thing's a work.
No, I guarantee you they called up Steen. The only reason Steen didn't come over to join him was because they gave him a couple $1 million to stay where he was. And just the fact that you could see that the wrestling business is fucked up when Kevin Steen gets $2.5 million or whatever on a wrestling contract. But no, they just call their friends. That's all they know how to do is call their friends. But now the friends ain't going to be able to help them because they have no leverage. They have no track record of ratings. They have no track record of fucking pay-per-view buys because fortunately, they haven't been featured in any of the major pay-per-views in the main event. And they have no track record of any kind of great matches with top talent. They do the same match every time with the gymnasts that they brought with them. So they have no appeal to the WWE past. Will take them away from the billionaire so that he will have a harder time making it in the wrestling business. And now that they're not making any difference to the billionaire, I can see them going after MJF. I can see the WWE being hell of a interested in Wardlow. I can see the WWE being completely interested in Powerhouse Hobbs. I can even see, okay, for shits and giggles, let's see if we can get Omega away from him. Maybe if, either he'll listen to us and make the changes we want him to make because at least he looks like an athlete and maybe some of our guys can get something out of him, or we've taken him away from the competition and they don't have him. And, he'd have a nervous breakdown in that locker room in 3 months, but I can see them making him an offer. But for the Jacksons, I think the WWE would rather make an offer to fucking Randy and Tito than Matt and Nick.
I would actually pay to see Randy and Tito team up, even today. If Tito still has any of that afro left, because that was a mighty fine afro.
It was.